Jeffrey's heroine visits the Crazy Horse Saloon, and while JR's away, Keith's at play, breaking records.
Alistair McGowan and Frankie Dettori are 40 minutes away on BBC One.
It's lighting up time in Blackpool and the busiest period of the year at the Pleasure Beach. But with the record crowds come extra problems. Breakdowns, drunks, security alerts, and now Jim Rowland, the manager of the park, has been called away unexpectedly because of an illness in the family. It's a chance for his deputy, Keith Allen, to prove himself.
I want to keep it neat and tight, everything ticking over, everything running at maximum, no big queues, because big queues don't spend money. We've got a lot of people here, and we have an opportunity to make a lot of money. So it's up to me to carry out that role in Jim's absence, and I shall. Come.
Not the best of starts. One of the boats in the river caves is stuck at the top of the final ramp. Passengers are stranded inside, and some of the children are getting upset.
Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
Thank you, 37, Emma.
Excuse me, thank you. Right, just stay here. Will somebody get the waders on? Pete, sort this lot out here.
Beach 19, David.
We're busy evacuating. I need water out of the track now. I'm in the Egyptian scene, there's no paddle on, and I'm paddling in it. Sorry about this, folks. I'm just going to stop the boat here. Now, if you just step out onto the platform, please.
The Pleasure Beach encourages shooting, but only in the arcades. Today, a boy has been injured by a real gun.
I was stood outside and I was tired, like with this big bang go off, and there was that many around. I didn't see like a gun or anything, I just saw this bang. I knew it were a gunshot, because like, you can tell a gunshot, can't you?
After treatment by the park's medic, the injured boy and his friends are now safely in security.
Walking down the road, this guy went to my brother, give me a chain, put a gun to him, give me a chain, so my brother went no, punched him, and he came up to me and shot me in the face.
He came up to me and asked me for my chain, so I said like, no, you're not having it, so he pulled out his gun, so I hit him. I'm not scared of him, just a gun in it. He's going to shoot me, he's going to shoot me. I live in Salford, mate, it doesn't matter, I can get used to it.
It was a brass cartridge, something had been discharged from it, whether it was just the powder, which would be enough. Pointed close up in pistol form would leave powder burns and would be enough to split the skin.
I've seen two people with guns today. Another lad pulled a gun out as well. This lad went, pulled a gun out like that, went, go on then, shoot me, and he put it away. I went, go on then, if you've got a gun, use it. And he just didn't use it at all. So I went, go on, use it, you've got a gun to use it, so use it, and he didn't use it and just got off.
After just 15 minutes, the River Caves ride is back in business. But now Keith's been called to another breakdown. This time, it's the monorail.
It doesn't happen when Jim's here. It'll all be my fault. I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is it's not this train that's broken down. Bad news is it's the other train that's broken down, so you can't go any further. Sorry about this, folks. I'm beginning to think it's not my day. And I'll tell Jim all about it and say, get away. He won't believe it.
The police have turned up to investigate the shooting. They're searching the area where the gun was fired to see if the weapon has been dumped.
What are you doing? Keep going. Come on, lads, you can't turn. The 4 individuals in the security office are pressing to leave. Tends to make me a little bit more suspicious.
It seems a waste of time just sitting in there. So I mean, because if we see him, we'll bring him back in. He's not going to stay around.
If we see him, we'll kill the shit out of him, then bring him back in.
The engineers are now on their way to the big one, which has come to an emergency stop 235 feet up. Keith has to wait for the computer to run through all its safety checks before the ride can restart.
Probably about 2 minutes, all said and done. But it seems like an eternity, doesn't it?
Especially for the passengers left hanging over the precipice. The police inspector is not convinced by the boy's story and has ordered a body search.
5 today. The bottle's going. What's the situation, Paul, please? Copied, thank you. Thanks, Space 5 out. It's cleared, but the last one to clear is always the one on the pull-up, and that's what I'm looking at, because we don't want that to go till we've made sure that the other trains are safe, do we? Because once it's gone over that hill, it belongs to Isaac Newton.
The owner of the Pleasure Beach, Geoffrey Thompson, is looking forward to a visit from Baroness Thatcher. He wants children on hand for a photo call, but the local press are asking awkward questions.
Yes, I believe there's been some criticism in the local schools about us opening the park during term time and almost attracting kids away from school. But if that has been said, all I would say in answer was that if someone as famous as Baroness Thatcher comes to the town, it's an honour for the town. And I think, quite honestly, it's part of a child's upbringing to see the famous people of the 20th century while they're young. And if the headmaster wants to deny them that privilege, I think he's denying them part of the essence of Great Britain.
Lady Thatcher will visit Frontierland in Morecambe, Geoffrey's second park. It's normally closed at this time of year, but they'll open it specially for such a big occasion. The Baroness will be greeted by the park mascot, Frontier Fred. Public Relations Director Helen O'Neill and her assistant Sharon meet to discuss the Iron Lady's requirements.
That was Elizabeth.
Lady T's press
Lady
secretary.
T's press secretary. She's adamant that she must not be photographed or filmed walking into the Crazy Horse Saloon.
Well, I think that might have something to do with the fact it's called the Crazy Horse Saloon.
Right,
yeah. Okay. I mean, why did we choose the Crazy Horse
I
Saloon?
actually said to her, we cannot change the venue, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Because
yes,
there's God knows how many thousands of pounds worth of carpet been laid for this.
Right, yes, oh yes.
Although we're concerned about what does Frontier Fred look like. Is Lady Thatcher, she's quite small, isn't she?
I don't know, I can't
Because she said, is this a great big thing that would make everybody else look ridiculous?
All right.
Cheers, anyway.
The body search revealed nothing and the boys were allowed to go home. The police failed to recover a weapon and the case was closed. It's been a hectic day. Despite everything, Keith's kept the rides operating flat out.
When we get a day like today, when we've been at it for so long and we've still got a lot of customers on the park, we start thinking records. Now it's early days yet and I don't want to spoil anything or put the mockers anything, but I can feel it that we're going to do something today. I think today's the day that we're going to beat the best day we had last year.
Right, everybody move away!
There's a fracas at the north gate and security are holding the suspect.
He's gone into the restaurant there. He's obviously he's on something. We don't know what it is. Shut up, son!
They were being very offensive in the bar, and they were politely asked to leave, and they just went haywire. Threw a punch at me, and then he just went mad. You know, he was throwing tables and chairs, trays. He was just going for little kids.
Look, what are they doing that for? Why are they doing that? Why are they strangling my brother?
The suspect's brother is protesting. He claims there's been some unnecessary rough stuff.
Don't struggle, they stay exactly as they are. Do you understand that? They're what they call lock. They'll not get tighter, they won't cause you any more pain unless you struggle. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
For Keith to break the record, the rides must be kept going at full tilt. But on the Grand Prix, some young people have been taking it easy.
You're taking too long. Let him go. You come on. Hey, get him going. Whatever you do, they'll always join up again. So just let him go about 10 yards. Go on, off you go. Get the whole ride stop there. Hey, keep going. Come on! Come on then, I'll bash you! I'll bash your head in! Come on, keep going! They're very hard to press the accelerators, and the smaller children, the legs get tired, and that's why they keep stopping.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's stopping the ride. Got to keep going. It's got to keep going.
You sound like JR.
Well, he taught me. Magic!
Security have moved the suspect into a storeroom. His brother and mates are getting agitated.
You're not shooting his ball, leaving me. You're not taking my brother in that room and leaving him on his own with you lot.
Right, listen, who's with him?
I don't trust him. That's my brother, please. I don't trust him. Look at him again, look at him.
Okay,
brutality by the police.
Do you now?
Calm down. Oh, we have? Right, calm down. Get off me then, man.
Right, just move away and you'll be okay. All right, it's your first line and you want last warning.
Right,
everyone, shut up a minute.
Keep it going.
Right, everyone, everyone shut up a minute. Oi, big mouth, come here. Trust him, nothing in his pockets.
Security guard Bill Mullin decides to let the brother in, just to reassure him.
Ian Mark, that's all. Till later, yes? Yes.
You go back out now. Yes, you've seen your brother.
I just don't want you to sustain any more injuries.
You're doing your job, you know what I mean?
If you sit nice and calm, yeah, lean against me, everything's going to be sweet, mate. All right?
Yeah. We do me a favour.
What's that, bud?
It's time to roll off.
Oi.
I just have to keep going and keep going and keep going, and then somebody will blow a whistle and say, "You've done it." I'm waiting to hear that whistle. It might not be till 2 o'clock in the morning. JR will be back next weekend, so whatever I can set him this weekend, I want to give him a real toughie, because he'll bust a gut next week to beat this week.
The police take the suspect away, but his brother's still not a happy man.
What are you hanging around here for now? Your brother's
Because I've gone to Blackpool, I'm told to stay here. He's thrown out of Blackpool.
Eventually, the suspect was arrested and charged with public order offences. The final whistle goes, and Keith is called to the boardroom.
Well, congratulations everyone on the best day ever. Thank you very much. Cheers. Cheers.
The day's takings are over £500,000.
How did you do that?
I've been on duty now for the busiest day in the history of Blackpool Pleasure Beach. JR can't say that, can he? Cheers.
It's Geoffrey's big day. Lady Thatcher is on her way and he's chartered a helicopter to run him up the coast to Morecambe. Geoffrey did well during the Thatcher years. He expanded his multi-million-pound empire by buying 2 more amusement parks in Morecambe and Southport. The Baroness has agreed to visit Frontierland to help bolster beleaguered Tory support in the area.
She's certainly made Britain what it is today, and we're very pleased she is visiting us. I'm fairly proud too. She's been to see us in Blackpool a time or two when she was Prime Minister, but she's never been to Frontierland.
Security make final checks before the Baroness descends. While Frontier Fred is on standby, Geoffrey and Mrs Thatcher's press secretary discuss photo opportunities.
Big picture with people rather than us, really. You've got children's odds, haven't you?
Yeah, Keith Roach and the local Conservative ladies are bringing all their grandchildren.
Super, super.
Baroness Thatcher's bodyguards are on the lookout, but it's Geoffrey who notices a hitch.
Oh dear, the belt seems to be a bit wonky there. We can't have Frontier Fred's pants coming down. Not very good for a political visit, I don't think, really, one way or another.
Back in Blackpool, there's a capacity crowd yet again, and Keith's record is up for grabs. His boss, JR, has returned. He's had a worrying time.
I had to go away. My eldest son and his wife work in Brunei for part that the Sultan of Brunei's built, and just had a little boy, my 3rd grandson. and he got taken very ill in 3 weeks. So I had to fly out, and hopefully everything's going to be okay, I'm hoping. And now I'm back, and we're going to go for a record day today.
But the day has got off to a bad start. The big one's playing up, and all 3 trains have come to a halt.
One base. I'm going to have to pay out the big one. Starting now, we're going to evacuate the trains first, okay? I'm shutting it down until you can cure that fault, okay?
There are 650 paid-up punters in the queue. Not only must JR return their tickets, but it's policy to offer a complimentary ride as well.
Complete and utter total disaster for me, yes. It's not just the fact I'm paying out, but I'm losing what's coming in. And if it is this part that I think it is, then we've got to run at least half a dozen times with empty trains to make sure that it's right. So all in all, we're probably going to do in about an hour, if we're lucky.
When the Iron Lady turns up, she fails to recognise her host.
No, Mr. Thompson, can I introduce Mr. Thompson?
Very nice to meet you again. Very nice indeed.
We've been around your Blackpool.
You have indeed.
Yes,
you have on
yes.
2 occasions. Yes, I think it's a photo opportunity here, possibly. And then
Right here next to Frankie Fred.
All right.
Okay.
What do you think of Morecambe at the moment?
Well, I like it very much.
At the big one, the engineers still haven't solved the problem.
You stand here and wait. But they know you're here then, so they work a bit quicker. They know I'm not a very happy man when I have to wait too long.
As you know, he's trying to beat last Saturday's.
I'm not trying to beat last Saturday's, I'm just trying to beat the record. That's all it is.
lovely.
Is it a Euro-skeptic horse, Lady Thatcher?
It's pro-United Kingdom horse.
That's right.
Lady Thatcher, I would just like one more question. Would that be possible?
No more, really.
No more photographs. She doesn't want to be filmed going into the Crazy Horse Saloon.
Lady, Frontier Fred wants to wave goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Despite the early setback, JR is playing a blinder. And by early evening, the park is back on track for a record-breaking day. But the bigger the crowds, the more work there is for security. Bill Mullin's been called down to the promenade by one of the shop managers.
Shoplifter. Or suspected shoplifter. What's he taking? A squirrel. Let's have a look.
Oh, that's maybe the ornament, yeah.
Is that it? Right, I'm arrested for suspicion of shoplifting, all right?
Well, I never shoplifted that, mate.
I'll take that a minute.
It's mine. It's in my house.
Right, fair enough.
I'll take you to my house and show you them.
Okay. But right now you're under arrest for shoplifting, okay?
For what? What have I shoplifted?
That squirrel thing. Okay, can you just give me your arm, please? Give you your other one. Okay. Go on then, mate.
We've seen him before and we know he's a shoplifter. And I was stood by a shelving unit watching the gentleman. I saw him pick it up and go out of the shop and I called for Stanford Radio for security.
That wee squirrel, right? You know that wee squirrel? I found the thing on the ground as I was walking past the shop.
Fair enough. We'll sort that out when we get back here, all right?
Yeah, no problem, mate.
The all-season ice rink is the park's latest attraction. Suddenly, disaster strikes.
We've lost all the power on South Park. All the rides are down. Nobody's stuck anywhere, thank God. So.
One detergent, Ariel.